All right, so in this video, I'm just going to give you a quick overview of the Chrome Music Lab because it's so cool. I got here by Googling it, or you could type in musiclab.chromeexperiments.com/experiments. And the first one is the Song Maker. This one is really cool and probably the most involved. And I'm going to show you how to use it. So I'm just going to draw a random line basically. And I don't want too many vertical things at the same time. And then I can put in a drum beat down here. And I'm going to do that. And now I'm just going to go crazy. And I'm going to make it a little faster. And I don't need to use MIDI. I could use a keyboard to put this in. I could use a microphone, but I don't need to do that right now. I just want to keep it simple with a marimba and an electronic drum sound. So here we go. I could change the marimba sound to be a piano. I could change the drum thing to be blocks or kit. And then I could even save my song. And it will give me a link and all this codes and goodness. And yeah, so that's Song Maker. I'm sure I want to go back. The next one is the Rhythm Experiment, which is pretty cool. Looks like this. And I can add in my own rhythms. So this is the first one. Then there's another one with a different time signature and different sounds. So that's pretty cool. And you can kind of keep going through them. They all have a little bit different rhythms, sounds, and animations. Looks like this. So that's cool. And now Spectrogram is super cool. So I'll show you probably 3 different ways of using it. First way is just by clicking. So I use the mouse and I can just go like this. And as I drag my mouse down, the pitch goes down. This sounds to me like maybe a square wave. In a minute you'll learn what a square wave is. Now let's try flute so we can see this. So this is just a recording that's built in. So we're seeing the sound as it's happening. On the bottom we have the low frequencies, on the top we have the high frequencies. On the bottom you have the low frequencies. On the bottom you have the low frequencies, and on the top you have the higher frequencies. Here's a harp. Pretty cool. And then we have the microphone. So it's just picking up my voice and tracking what my voice sounds like with all the different harmonics and frequencies, and I can make weird sounds like this. I can go deep. And there you go. So there's that, and a couple other ones you can play around with too, like drum machine, so on and so on. So that is the Spectrogram. There's chords, and so you basically just have 2 different types of chords. I can play a C, and it will play me a full C major chord. I could play a D, and it will do a D major chord, E major chord, so on and so on. Or I can do this, and it'll play a minor chord for me. So here's C minor, D minor, E minor, so on and so on. Sound waves looks like this, and you're seeing the different wavelengths and frequency and how they're interacting. So look at a really high note versus a low note. Bigger waves and slower waves. That's sound waves. Then we have arpeggios. So let's do a C or A minor, G, and if you click the center, now I'm moving around in strange ways, so it doesn't sound quite as good as if I did this. there's arpeggios and Kandinsky, which is cool. It's basically turning your drawing into sound. So you can play around with that. Then there is Melody Maker, which is really the same thing as the top part of Song Maker. But here it is all by itself. And I can change the speed by moving this guy. So the number is beats per minute. Beats per minute, how many times the beat happens in a minute. So this would be 70 times per minute, which would be slightly faster than 1 second, and it would sound like this. So one beat every second would be 60 beats per minute, but right now we're at 70, so it's slightly faster than that. So that is Melody Maker. You can play around with that. This one is really cool, Voice Spinner. Hello, and welcome to the new world. Oops. Hello, goodbye.
Oops. Hello, goodbye. Oops. Hello, goodbye.
Backwards. Or I can go like this, make it super fast and high, or I can make it super slow. So it sounds like a monster or something, because it's super slow. So that is Voice Spinner. Have fun with that. Harmonics. So there are a lot of really cool math concepts that can be applied to this. And yeah, so that is harmonics. Then we've got oscillators. I'm going to save for last because it's so cool. Strings looks like this. So again, you can explore a bunch of different mathematical relationships with strings and the frequencies that they produce at given lengths and intervals. And then last but not least, oscillator, because it's so cool. So this can teach you about types of waves and frequency. So right now we're doing a square wave, and by default it would be at 440 hertz, 444 revolutions per second. So super fast. But now if we click on this little dude's face, it does all kinds of cool things. Watch. So just as I move my mouse up and down while I'm holding down click, I click and hold down, and I move up and down, and that changes my frequency, and then the sound is affected. I can go over here to change my type of wave, which will change the tone or the timbre of the sound. Triangle wave sounds like this. And sine wave. And there you go. There's oscillators. And that gives you a little peek into the Chrome Music Lab. And now for the fun part, you and your students should go and experiment.